Right, so
That's new.
wow.
Yeah, really.
All right, I guess I'll consent. All right, very good.
Yeah, thank you.
All right then, so let me get my agendas and whatnot up. I still have that script. Oh, and I'll need to get, let's see, set up to get the speakers. Panelists for 527. Okay. So I got all that. All right, very good. All right then, my name is Peter Olkers. I'm Vice Chair of the Needham Conservation Commission. I'd like to open the meeting Thursday, May 27th, 2021. Before we get down to business though, I need to do the preliminary matters. As a preliminary matter, this is Peter Olkers, Conservation Commission Vice Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. And back to Zoom. Allison. Sue.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
And Allison, your mute stuff is working?
Working.
Good. All right, so you can all hear. That's good. Okay. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Debbie?
Here.
Clay?
Here.
And then anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. So I have, on my list, I have Simon Chadwick.
Here.
Diane Simonelli.
Here.
Anne and David Steele. This is for 43 Cornell. Nancy Latanzio.
I believe that all of the 43 Cornell representatives will not be coming.
Okay.
Because it was only continued to the DEP file number. So I don't expect them to be here.
Very good. Artie.
Here.
Thank you. Gregory Monroe.
He couldn't attend. He might be late, but he had another meeting that he was trying to get in.
Okay, thank you.
He's the owner, but I'm authorized to represent him.
Very good. Michelle Milsom.
Here.
Diane, we called. Federico Grossi.
Here.
And you'll need to forgive my pronunciation. Fushi Kang.
Yeah, you did perfect.
And Zenkeng Lee.
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. Thank you.
Perfect.
Very kind of you. All right. So, good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the commission chair and through use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions or comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I or Janet will introduce the applicant and or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the list of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right, so that's it with the preliminaries. Now we can move on to the agenda. All right, which I had in, there we go. All right, so no minutes to be approved?
No minutes tonight.
Okay, and enforcement and violation updates. Do you want to do this now or do you want to wait till Janet is here?
Yeah, maybe we could do that at the end.
Okay. All right, so let's move into the hearings. What makes sense to do first? Just to get through some of the ones that are pretty much pro forma?
I mean, 80 Country Way should be pretty easy.
Okay, so let's start with 80 Country Way. I'll open the hearing. 80 Country Way, DEP file number 234865. This is a continued notice of intent. So that's Artie, you're representing Country Way?
That's correct. I tried to share the screen. I don't know if you can see it, guys.
I cannot see anything. It's just blank.
Let me try it again. How about
Got
now?
it. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll try to save some time for everyone. On our last meeting, we couldn't close because we didn't have a DEP number. That DEP number had been issued. The gist of the project is that we have a new owner of the property living at number 80 Country Way, and he would like to put a swimming pool in the backyard. The comments that we got from the board at the last meeting were, Art had a comment regarding the company who cut the trees. Who are they? And I was able to gather from the owner that it's a company out of Walpole. That's a tree company called they work as GT Equipment and Landing Inc. Christopher was the name of the guy who did the work. Apparently, when he met with the owners, he didn't know enough to tell them you need permission, but unfortunately, that's what happened. That's why we've got this tree in here that is gone and another one on the back. Another comment that Art required that we address was that the type of tree that ended up being cut on the back. What was the name of the tree? What type of tree was it? So we verified, and it was an oak tree that was on the back in here, 32-inch oak tree. On the front one, it was an eastern white pine tree, and that was a 30-inch tree. The other comment that we got from Art again was the possibility of adding additional trees and those to be within a 100-foot buffer. What we are proposing on doing is adding 2 additional red oaks, and where we're going to be putting the pool equipment between the 3 trees, it seems that that area will be open, so we can squeeze another tree down here. And then inside the 50-foot buffer, there is a stump, an old stump that was there near the wall. So what we were thinking is maybe we plant another one because it was an open enough area that would suffice for another tree. So for the 2 trees that we were cutting, instead of replacing it with 4 trees, we have gone to 6 trees.
Artie, are those oaks or maples that you're gonna replace with?
We have proposed with 6 3-inch red maple trees.
Okay,
Or approved equal, because if they don't have it available at the time of the planting, then they're gonna ask for approval from Deb in order to go ahead and plant. Another item that was brought up to our attention was the fact that we were going ahead and putting the swimming pool with permeable pavers around. One of the concerns was when they do the winterization for the swimming pool, we didn't want it to see the water just being directed toward the wetlands or just left on the grass. This swimming pool will have a cartridge, so no chlorine will be discharged. However, once a year when they winterize the swimming pool, they will have to take off probably around a foot and a half of water. And for that purpose, we have proposed a backwash pit. We didn't put the big size, we put the smaller size because it's going to be used only once a year and it's going to be discharging slowly. And we specified in there proposed backwash pit for pool winterization. Swimming pool will have cartridge filter. Included in there, there is a detail for the concrete backwash pit. I believe this were all the items that were requested of us at the last time. I think we have addressed everything, but if there is any other questions or any suggestions, we'll be happy to answer them.
All right, so I'll go around and see if the commissioners have any other questions. Sue?
Was there an issue with the fence?
There was no issue with the fence. I don't know
Okay.
what.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else. I'm good.
No, the fence is the red one that is beyond. It's going all the way up to the property line. The fence is already there that exists.
Bill?
I'm good.
No further comments. Thank you.
Allison?
No comments.
And I don't either. So are we ready to close? I'll take a motion.
Motion to close the hearing for 80 Country Drive.
I second.
All in favor? Allison?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Peter? Aye. The hearing is closed, and I guess we saw a draft exhibit, so we can look at that later.
yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Artie.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's see. And Cornell Road, that was pretty basic too.
Yeah, I think Cornell should be pretty easy to close out. This was the project that had a proposed patio, small stone retaining wall and stairway, and several planting beds for native plantings. The commission seemed to be in favor of the project and all set to close, except they didn't have a DEP file number until either yesterday or earlier today. So
they do have one. It's not on the agenda that I have, but
yeah, it wasn't issued by the time we had the agenda posted. It was just issued in the last 24 hours or so.
okay. Do you happen to know what it is, just for the minutes when I read it?
I
off?
do. Is 234,867.
867, well, that makes sense. Okay. All right, so let me open the hearing for 43 Cornell Road, DEP file number 234,867. This is a continued notice of intent. And the applicants aren't here. Clay, was there any change? It was just the DEP file number, right?
That's correct. There weren't any requested revised plans.
And that they were all outside the 25, right?
Yep.
So there aren't even waiver issues and that sort of thing. I mean, I'll go around and ask the commissioners if they have any other questions. Sue? Sue, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Bill?
No further questions.
Allison?
Further questions?
Okay. Clay and Debbie, any more comments?
No, everything looked good. Everything was within existing lawn. There's no removal of natural vegetation, and the net planting is significantly more than the new hardscaping going in.
Very good. All right. I assume there's no one in the audience wanting to comment on this.
No hands raised.
Okay, very good. So I think we're ready to close. Anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to close the hearing for 43 Cornell Road.
Second?
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Peter? Aye. All right, so that hearing is closed, and I think we also have a draft exhibit for that one that we can read later as well. All right. Moving right along. We have one more continued. We have a complicated discussion about this conservation restriction.
So are we on 50 Lehigh?
I think we can go there, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's open the hearing for 50 Lehigh Road, DEP file number 234,864. This is a continued notice of intent. Diane, are you here to represent? Thank you.
I am, yep.
So
I'm here.
take us through. So we had a number of comments, and I believe a lot of those were addressed in the materials that you submitted.
Sure. Can I share my screen with you all?
Please.
Okay. So we'll start with the planting plan, if that's okay. Oh, I'm sorry, the other one came up first. Sorry, I grabbed the other one. So the plan that we have here in front of us is frozen. It won't move. So the plan we have here in front of us is a plan showing our fence line and showing our line for the edge of lawn. So as we remember last meeting, this is a single family home built in 2017, I believe. I forgot the date. And from there, the homeowner would like to extend the lawn in the back of the yard. And again, that area is about 65 square feet. In that area, there are a few trees that we would like to remove, some of which are hazardous based on Cray Small's report, which we will get to in a little bit. So there's 4 trees in total that we'd like to remove and 4 that we'd like to snag. And again, the 4 that are going to be removed are the circles, the single circles with the X's, the double circle with the X's will be the snags, which are down here. The trees that are going to be snagged again are highlighted in Cray's report. There are additional trees that are also hazard, but we're trying to snag the worst trees, if you would. But the big focus last meeting, I believe, was the fence line. So if we could start with that. What we did is we removed the fence from the 25 and we basically put it just outside, as we discussed in the meeting. You'd be willing to allow it just outside the 25. And then we have it coming across and tying into the house to allow the closed-in area for the pool. Then down by the street line here, what we did is we came along the property line and came up, and we kept it 25 feet from the wetlands, just enough to keep, somebody would have to go quite a ways down the property line to get into the property. That way we can close in this portion because we have it coming back up here. So we can, again, kind of keep a safety area for the kids to play. So we try to accomplish both things. So with that, are there any questions with the fencing?
Yeah,
Or should I just
so
do it all at the same time?
yeah, so let me go and ask the commissioners about that particularly. I do have my own question. So this is now mapped. I mean, and you're basically using the map itself to describe where the fence is going to go.
Mhm.
Has there been any investigation of the actual conditions of where the fence is likely to go and how much disturbance it might cause in terms of the installation process?
We have
Um,
not looked into that portion of it, but again, we put it on the plan based on the 25 foot.
Yeah.
But we can, not that we can, we obviously would avoid trees or any damage to substantial vegetation.
Deb, is that something that happens during a pre-construction meeting? I'm not familiar with the actual procedure for putting these sort of fences in.
I think we could probably, Diane, would it work for you guys to kind of mark in the field
Mhm.
the path you want to take with it?
We can do that.
So that when we did meet, we could see, if that was gonna work and how much disturbance.
We can absolutely do that.
And there's going to be a gap on the bottom as well, right?
Exactly, the 4-inch, yep.
Okay. All right, so I'll look at it when I go out for the pre-construction meeting, and I'll have them make adjustments
Okay.
Okay.
needed.
All right, so I'll go around and ask commissioners. Bill,
No comments.
Allison,
No comments.
Sue?
I'm okay.
All right, so I think the fence then
I
looks
had
like you-
one, I'm sorry, I
Oh,
just have
sorry.
one thing.
Please, Deb.
Because the erosion control is labeled proposed hay bales.
Oh, I don't know why that is.
Yeah, so we don't do hay bales.
Right, the detail does show, yeah.
Yeah,
don't know why.
I
We
just
have a-
happened to notice it when I was looking at it earlier.
Okay, we have a new draftsman, I'm sorry. I'll make sure. that-
It's okay.
That's true. We don't need anything coming off those hay bales.
No,
That's right.
All right. Very good. Any other comments before we move to the planting plan? All right. Very good. All right. So there were revisions to the planting plan, particularly in
So
terms
let
of
me
the
just-
lists that you used.
yes. So let's get to that plan. Let's see, I say that. Okay, do you see that?
I didn't see any change.
Okay, yeah, that, it's funny if I download it. Let's see. Let me get that. Sorry.
Can I ask Michelle, do you mind muting? Michelle, do you mind muting while we talk? There's a lot of sound bleeding in.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not me. I am muted.
I think there's two Michelles. I don't know if there's somebody else logged in.
Yeah, Michelle Milsom is muted. I don't know who is not.
Well, there's two, Michelle. I don't know why, but there's two of you on.
But that's not your dog barking.
Oh, that's my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
that's Diane's dog.
It's a
Well, there's
puppy.
nothing we, well, there's nothing we can do with
I'm
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
I have 5 children and no dogs because I can't handle a dog on top of 5 children.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Michelle. All right,
So let's get to this plan. I don't know why. So you still can't see it here, huh?
yeah.
Okay, just give me one more second. I don't know why. Okay, so okay. Do you see that?
yes,
Okay. Okay, so so again, basically in the last meeting, I know there's some discussion about how we place the plantings, and just so you know, our goal for the last planting plan was to kind of delineate that line and make it so we don't have that, you know, that creeping of the lawn. So, you know, it was a combination of things, reasons why we kind of bulked up along the lawn line. We wanted to make sure that wasn't, you know, we wanted to show you that, you know, we understand that this was a line not to be crossed, and we wanted to plant it pretty solid. But there was some concern about the way we planted because it was too close to the roots, too close to the existing trees. So what we did is we kind of spread those out a little bit in order to allow for, you know, less damage to the existing trees, probably even extend that habitat that we're hoping to beef up. And additionally, we moved some of the trees. These 3 trees are basically just inside the 25, and most everything is between the 25 and 50. Again, moving the plantings around will allow for greater area, greater coverage. The plantings, again, this plan was done and modified to remove any non-native species. So I believe he said he took them all out. I didn't check his work, but he's Peter from Paradigm said that they were all removed. So Allison, did you have a chance to take a look at that plan?
Yes, I think it's greatly improved. I think it's going to be very nice.
Okay,
These are fine. Thank you.
thank you. So the other thing too is the trees, again, these trees over here that are going to be snagged, if I can bring up the report from Cray Small. He identified a variety of invasives which are within the between the 25 and 50 foot buffer. And he's also going to do a mitigation, a restoration area for, or I should say, invasive species removal work on that area as well. If I could bring that up, so I can, I don't know why. Planting plan.
Oh, jeez. Sorry.
Okay. It's tough to work without a mouse here. Let's see, desktop. Okay, so. Okay, do you see that? Or no, that's not downloaded. Let's see.
that's the old, yeah.
Oh, that's not, why is it not coming up for me? I'm sorry. I can see it here, but it's not downloaded. So the report is, Craig's report was in the most recent application, and was that sent along to everybody?
Yeah, yeah. No, that
Okay.
was very clear.
Okay, so it was clear. Okay, so did we want to go over tree by tree in his report?
That's up to the commissioners. I personally went through it, and I mean, I think the arguments were, and the evidence was pretty good.
Yeah, some of the trees are
Oh, we're seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think some of them you're trying to protect, which is good. And then the 3 that are in the lawn area, those are obvious. So
Right.
we don't have to look at those. And you're going to snag, I'm sorry, all of the ones that in the
no.
do not
That-
disturb.
No, there's quite a few trees that are hazardous, but just the real dangers, if you would.
Yeah.
Some are being pruned, like tree number 19. There's some deadwood. That's going to be pruned off. Some of this deadwood up top. Number 20, again, that's one of the snags.
Can I ask how the work is going to be done within the do not disturb?
That isn't something I had conversation with Michelle. I'm not even sure who's going to do the work. We can,
we just don't want heavy equipment in there. That's all.
Oh yeah, as far as you can even suggest a climber, not necessarily a bucket truck.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have somebody in my yard doing that today. So climbing to clean or prune some of the trees. And again, we're trying to protect the trees that we can, but as you can see, this tree, there's, it's fallen and that needs to be cleaned up. That will be pruned. But we can suggest a climber, not a bucket truck, no heavy equipment, and the trees be removed, in piecemeal.
Sounds good. Let me ask the commissioners. Allison, do you have any questions about the trees?
No, I think it was very clear report. Thank you.
Sue? And I'll take that as a no. Okay. Bill?
No further comments, thanks.
Very good. Okay, so I think those are the main categories, were the trees and the fence and the planting plan. Deb and Clay, did that cover the concerns?
Yes, it did.
All right, so wow, we might be ready to close. Actually, before I do that, let me just see if there's anyone in the audience who might have any questions.
There are no hands up.
No hands up. Okay, very good. So let's move. I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close the hearing. And the address again, please.
50 Lehigh.
50 Lehigh. Motion to close for 50 Lehigh.
Thank you. Sue seconds. All in favor.
Yeah.
Sue?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Peter? Aye. Closed. And I believe we also have a draft exhibit to look at for this one as well. All right, very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're getting into areas where it would be nice if Janet were here.
She did text me. She'd be here soon.
Okay, the Brookside, 78 Brookside, is that much? They're just pushing the house back, is that right?
Yeah.
Clay, that's you, I think.
Yes, they're actually proposing to move the house a little bit closer to the wetlands. They have to meet a setback from the road, so it's proposed to be slightly closer, but they're changing the footprint of the house, so it's a little bit less square footage as they move closer. There's no additional vegetation removal, and their engineer has stated that the proposed stormwater units are still sized for the new footprint and layout of the house. With that modification, they also have relocated the proposed deck in a minor way from one side of the house to the other. So we had them filed for the minor mod rather than an amended order.
Okay. Yeah, so let's deal with that one then. So this is 78 Brookside Road, DEP file number 234841, request for minor modification. And Clay, no one is here to represent that.
We are.
Oh, oh, is this for 78 Brookside Road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. All right, so tell us what you are doing.
So yeah, maybe I can share my screen. So actually, the only reason that we are here to request to move the house back a little bit is because we have to, during the design process, the architectural design process, we are going to applying for building permit. We just found that the originally proposed footprint cannot fulfill the required setback from our existing septic system. And if you can see from my screen, there's very light line. It's from here to here. It was the originally proposed footprint. And so we are just asking to move the footprint back a little bit closer to the wetlands. If you can see the revised house, the footprint is like this. And so that we can be 20 feet away from our existing septic system. And we also, the original plan had a long elevated deck, like this, but it was from here to here. And also there is a walkway on the side to the basement. It was here. And now we are proposing to break the elevated deck into two parts. One is the elevated deck and the other one is permeable patio on the ground. And so actually the patio moved closer because it was here before, and now it's like here, and the patio is here, and so we also reduced the size of the footprint. The revised footprint is 148.2 square feet smaller than the original plan. And the shape of the building was changed slightly. You can see there was this like kind of bumpers, like this shape, and we trying to make it more flat to reduce the depth of the building. And the patios and elevated decks are still over the existing lawn. And here, this is the stormwater management system, and here is the stormwater management system. And because the engineer said the footprint change was very small, and so they should remain the same. And if you see the number crossed out, it was a typo. I think that he corrected. And this new this change will not involve any additional tree removals within the 100 feet buffer zone.
Very good, very thorough. Thank you. Let me ask the commissioners if they have any questions. Sue?
Actually, I'm having a little trouble. I didn't catch how much closer to wetland would be moved back.
Yeah. So actually, so the original footprint was 77.3 feet from the wetland, and the revised footprint is 70.3. So about 7 feet change. It was mainly due to this little corner here because it's closer to the wetland. And this is our existing structure. Yeah. So yeah, this is the 50 feet line, and this is the 25 feet.
So now it's 70, whereas before it was 77 at the closest point.
basically, yeah.
Very good. Does that answer your question, Sue?
Yes, yes. I'm
Okay.
good.
Bill?
You said you did this largely because the setback to the septic. Did you field verify the location of the septic just to make sure that it doesn't have to be pushed back anymore?
Yes,
During construction, they actually dug it up and they found the most restrictive edge.
yes, we actually had someone to stack it, and also had the surveyor put the stakes in our septic system.
Okay, thank you very much. I have no further questions.
Very good. Allison?
No questions.
No questions for me. Deb, any concerns?
Nothing for me.
Clay, any concerns?
No, they addressed, I originally had concerns just to ensure that the stormwater units and everything was still sized accordingly, but that has been dispelled with the emails with their engineer as well.
Very good.
I
Allison,
have one comment that, I love green ash and it's a native tree, but it gets a disease. They've been dying.
Oh, sorry for that.
I mean, it's okay. You don't know. They've been dying out.
Oh,
So,
no, actually, during the first hearing, we had this comment. So in our order, like the final order of condition, we've changed them to red maples.
Oh, good. Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, the planting plan on this plan here was superseded by a minor mod this
Yeah.
time.
Okay. So it wasn't a criticism. It just was a comment. You might not want to plant them, and now you change them. You'll be happier with the green. I mean, with the red maple, I think.
excellent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay. So I think we're ready to approve. What's the verb? We approve the minor mod?
You vote to issue.
To issue the minor mod. Okay. Motion?
Motion to issue the minor mod for 78 Brookside.
Second?
I second.
Sue gets the second. Okay, all in favor. Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Peter, aye. All right, so we will issue that minor modification. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Janet is here. I see her, even if she's not there yet.
How far did you get? It looks like you're already on other business. Did you go through everybody?
No, we still have the new notice of intent to go through, and then the enforcement we didn't talk about yet, and the conservation restriction issue we didn't talk about yet. So there's still plenty to talk about.
Sounds like you're doing a very good job. Do you want me to take over?
If you want to lead from here, I'd be happy to hand over the reins.
So we're up to 381 South Street? Is that, you already did 45 Cornell, 50 Lehigh, and 80 Country Way?
All the continueds we finished, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you guys. All right. So we'll call to order 381 South Street, DP file number 234866. This is the notice of intent. Please, whoever is doing the presentation, state your name for the record.
It's Federico Grossi.
Okay,
The homeowner.
you're the applicant.
Yes, and homeowner.
Homeowner, all right, great. And are you presenting, do you have plans?
Yes.
You want to tell us what you're doing?
I will start. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the property is located on 381 South, this South Street. This is that can you hear me?
At the moment I'm seeing our agenda though.
Oh, sorry. Let me stop sharing. I picked the wrong screen.
At least it was our agenda.
Yeah. There you go. You
Okay,
see the map?
yes.
All right. Property is 81 South Street, between South and Dedham. So the back of the lot is on Dedham Avenue, and we have the Alder Brook on the back of the property. So going now to the plan. So here we mark the Alder Brook. It was marked by Barbanes Consulting, and also the wetland that is in the back of the property, the 25, 50, and 100 wetland buffer, and then the 100 feet and the 200 feet riparian for the brook. So the project that we want to do, you see here, is very light. Is the current lawn, which is above this retaining wall that you see here. So everything, all the proposed work is beyond the 100-foot wetland buffer, and is between the outer and inner riparian. So right now, any construction in the lot is about 150 foot from the brook at the moment. So let me zoom out here to show what we are proposing. So we did look at all the trees around the proposed work area, and we plotted those, and we are proposing to remove some trees that we will discuss in a few minutes. The proposed work includes an installation of the pool in the current lawn, and then a concrete surface for a pavilion and outdoor kitchen, and then marked with the thinner black line here is all pervious patio around the pool and the pavilion. So the total increase in impervious is 1,300 square foot, and that will be mitigated by 4 Cooltech 150, which can handle over 292 cubic foot. So that's about 2.7 inches of rain in the new impervious area. The current retaining wall will be expanded just a little bit to accommodate the pavilion and to retain this soil here. As we remove the current patio here, we had to basically extend this retaining wall to be able to separate this and create these new stairs here. The new fence installation around the pool, I don't know if you can see it, this thin line here with the edges will go all around the retaining wall, all the way to the edge of the property, and then back into the house. So it will cover all the current lawn of the property. Then of all the trees around, actually no trees will be affected by the construction itself, but the report from the arborist came and assessed all the trees. He feels that these 7 trees here marked with the X, which are all white pines and hemlock here, are actually, pose a hazard to the property. Most of all these trees here on the side of the retaining wall are leaning towards the house, and he felt that these 2 trees also pose a hazard. They're very, very large, and of course, all trees, but he also felt that they pose a hazard, and we have seen in the last few months actually big trunks coming down from those trees into the backyard. So a total of 7 trees we're proposing to remove, and as a mitigation plan, we're proposing to plant, and this is my personal wish. They have already recommended that I don't go there, but to plant some Atlantic white cedars in the wetland and being very careful about it. I think, for what I find out, those are, trees that are going, that are endangered at the moment. So I'm a naturalist myself, so, I wanted to propose that. I'm happy to change the plan if the commissioners are not in agreement with us disturbing the wetland at all. We're going for smaller trees to make sure that, we don't disturb the area. We did not mark on our mitigation plan where the trees will go. I wanted to, discuss with the commission first. There is room here for 5 or 6 trees. And then on the other side of the brook, which is all wetland as well, close to Dedham Avenue, there is also room for planting. And then we're proposing another 6 trees, which will be larger, larger than 1.5 inch caliper, to be planted between the 25 and the 50 foot buffer zone in this area, which is at the moment overtaken by invasive. So we'll need to do a bit of cleaning before planting those, but there is this space is empty at the moment and doesn't have a lot of trees. So that is the plan that we're proposing. We will have the cool deck will have a sediment trap. The equipment of the pool will have a cartridge filter, so there will be no backwash necessary. So there will be basically no water being discharged on the land at any point. For winterization, if we need to get a foot of water out of the pool, that'll be about 500 cubic feet. So perhaps in 2 or 3 days, it can be discharged in the cool deck chambers, 6 inches at the time over a period of time, or we will have to need to find another solution. So I don't know if you want to see any more specific details on anything at the moment, or I'm happy to stop here and answer any questions.
Yeah, I'm sure the commission has some questions. I will turn it over to others in a minute. I'm just confused about the wall. You have an existing wall. You're going to take a portion of that existing wall down and put up a new wall because of the patio changes, but you're putting a fence that's not actually on the wall?
No,
I
the
have
fence,
pictures, by the way, if that would help you, Janet.
yeah, the fence will go on the wall. So this is the current patio here, which is all impervious. This
Yep.
round patio that is being removed, and we're only keeping this bed and doing stairs. So
Okay.
it's actually, this is a reduction of 270 square foot.
Okay.
And then we are just expanding this wall a little bit to accommodate the patio to be far enough, because we got too close here with the slab for the pavilion.
So which portion of the wall is remaining?
All this wall is remaining.
And then why is the erosion control barrier is on the top of the wall?
Yeah, we're putting in top of the wall because there's no work being done here.
But
And
then it goes down on the lower portion.
on
And
the
then,
lower
but
portion to
and then the
protect.
fence, your proposed fence is not going on top of the existing wall. It's going in front of it, in front of the erosion control barriers?
No, it's going Well, yes, it's going in front of where the erosion control would be. But yeah, that's where we draw it. Very likely we'll go closer to the wall with the
It
final.
will likely go closer to the wall.
What is it?
You're really gonna put that fence on the wall.
Yes.
Or in front of the wall.
Yes.
So you didn't draw it in the right place.
That's
Is
right.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm just like looking at it, doesn't make sense. to
Yeah.
me.
You're correct.
All right. I'm gonna let the rest of the commission start asking their questions, but keep this up, I think, for the moment.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have any questions at this time?
I'm curious, did you do any test holes for the infiltration or the pool to make sure you have depth and type of soils, things like that, groundwater?
No, so for the infiltration chambers, we didn't. We'll do that prior to construction. And if we need to make any adjustments, move them up or reassess altogether, we will at the time. And come back to the commission if we need to move.
Is there any utilities being run out to the pavilion? Are there any bathrooms out there, or put injector pumps in it?
There will be
conduits?
No bathroom, so we'll have electricity going here to the equipment, and there will be a sink on for the outdoor kitchen that will produce very small amount of gray water.
The water lines will probably have to be down about 4 feet to be below frost. You might want to show the location. Do you have an idea where they're going to go?
Well, the water in the house, the open area in the basement is here where we have the water.
Yeah.
So very likely they will go out of the house here, surrounding the pavilion and into the back.
Okay. No further questions. I just prefer to see the utilities put on the plan. That's all. If it'd be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think take note that you should show the water line and you should do a soil test pit where in the footprint of that system, as Bill suggested. Peter, do you have any?
Sorry, a test soil.
A soil test pit at the location of the stormwater chambers to make sure that you have separation to groundwater, as well as to make sure that the soil below it will actually infiltrate. You really need to, our intention is that people do that test pit before we just say it's okay, unless it's very clearly obvious. You don't show a lot of contours on here, so we don't really know what's happening between the soil test pits and the wetlands. Is it flat? Is it steep? You don't see a lot of contours, so. This is a spot grade of 94, maybe.
So the chambers will be about 100 elevation. The wetlands are at the Alder Brook is at 91, and the wetlands are 90 between 92 and 94 here.
So the surface of your chambers is at 100, but the bottom of them will be lower.
Yeah, will be about 97.
So I think maybe Bill, maybe you're more comfortable with that, but I think he needs a test pit in that location.
Sometimes in that type of in tougher soils, the water table can run with the contour, so it's always helpful to know, and it just avoids having to modify those chambers at the construction time to a bigger footprint or something different from what the commission sees.
Especially where you're in that riverfront area. Peter, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I mean, I'm interested to see what Allison thinks about the Atlantic White Cedar.
Yeah, I was
none of my own.
all right, Allison.
Yes, I would like to see your proposed plantings. I know you described them, but I'd like to see the quantities and the sizes and the species. You did talk about Atlantic cedar, which I also love Atlantic cedar. They're hard to find, and you're only going to be able to find little ones, as you know. I think they might like their feet a little wet. Then the question is, okay, here they are.
Oh,
The
sorry.
question is, but on the plan, I mean, showing them on the plan.
Okay.
I love white oak, hard to get them to live. They're hard to transplant. They have a taproot, but they're wonderful. Good luck. So I want to see them on the plan. And the other thing is, I would like to ask the commissioners, the other commissioners, it may be that one plant, the Atlantic white cedar, may want to be in the wetland if you're going to plant it.
Well, that was what he was suggesting to do. So how do we feel? I mean, I'm looking at this list and he's saying it's a 6-gallon bucket.
Little, they're little.
Right? So it's
Right.
1 inch. And,
Like
and-
what, 3 or 4 feet or something, 3 feet? They're little.
Yes, that's what they said. The problem is that the next one is the 15-gallon, which,
I hope the deer don't eat them. I mean, they may. Ugh, this is what I'm not sure about. They're lovely. I mean, I think there's reasons why they're endangered.
Yeah, and we'll have to protect them, against deer. They're fairly small.
But I mean, if the commissioners, I mean, I would love to plant Atlantic white cedars everywhere. If the
And how do we feel about, well, I guess I have 2 questions. How do we feel about it being planted actually in the wetlands? Is this is this trees being counted for the trees that they're removing? Or are the other trees the ones counted for the, how many trees?
Aren't the trees are removing outside of the 100? It looked like they're outside of the buffer.
Oh, they're within the 200-foot riverfront.
It's a riverfront, yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees are coming
7.
out.
Yeah.
And you're planting 6 trees that are larger than 1/2.
Yeah, I'm proposing 18 trees altogether because those 12.
But
had to
they're
go smaller.
very small. And I don't think you're going to be allowed to plant any in the easement because that's, I assume it's a drainage easement. Does it have any pipes or anything in it? And the town could come along and have to work in that easement. So my guess is you can't plant anything in the easement. I mean, maybe you have to get permission from the town, but my guess is it's a town of Needham drain easement. You're not going to be allowed to plant in it.
Is that whole area their easement?
Shows,
Yes,
yeah, that big.
This is the
Oh, I
region.
see it. Okay.
Now there is also wetland on the other side that I could, measure and propose the planting and see, how many we can fit. We don't want to put them, too close together and see, what you think about that. If you agree in the first place that I could, at least look into it. Otherwise, I will go outside the wetland in this area.
I mean, I don't know. I'm really struggling with planting right in the wetlands. Allison, unless you find it particularly beneficial, and is this an area that is starving?
I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how shady it is. I don't know how much other plantings there are
Do you
over
have
it.
any photographs, Deb or Clay? Do we have any photographs of this property? You want to bring those up?
Yeah, I have photographs, but not necessarily of that area.
Not of the wetland.
Let me.
They're not of the wetland because they generally.
I mean, there were facultative species. Atlantic.
Oh, can I share my screen?
You can take it over.
Yeah, let me stop sharing.
Mhm.
You explained your project well. Are you an engineer or an architect, or did you just get good information?
I'm a physician, but I'm a hobbyist. So
I was thinking, wow, as a homeowner applicant, you went right along.
no, I was telling Clay and Deb before that we used to live in Kentucky. I have 5 acres. I love my big lots, and then we moved to Newton to basically a tiny backyard. So I got this property because of the 1.5 acres that we got. So,
Okay.
yep.
So I have a description of where they do well. Atlantic white cedar is an evergreen tree. Well, that's why the deer get it. In the cypress family that may grow 60 to 80 feet tall with a
Yep.
diameter of 2 feet. The Atlantic white cedar prefers sandy, peaty, moist to wet soil in full.
Am I sharing my screen?
I see a
full sun
picture of a
to
trees
shade.
with orange tape.
But
you hear
what?
me?
See trees with orange tape.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And tends to grow in small mounds and with water pooling in the depression surrounding them. So
Water
it's pretty
pooling.
particular. They're very particular.
They are.
So it does like wet soil. You can't plant them up high. You have to plant
Nope.
something else.
Okay, so we'll get back to those. This is the trees that are proposed to come down, or I guess this is
So,
4 of them.
so these two right here, those are the large 34 and 36 inch. You can see them here.
I don't see you moving a cursor.
You know?
No, I see the photograph. Did
Hmm.
other people see her moving her cursor?
Curses.
See the cursor just stopped up on the minimize bar.
Well, can you see
Well,
the trees? Can you
I see the trees. I see orange tape.
Yeah,
Okay,
but those are the two.
so those are two.
So
This
those are
is-
just 2 trees. They look like they have split trunks or whatever you guys call that.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
number 15 and 16 in the plan.
Allison always says that that's not good.
Well, it's because I think it might be 2 trees that grafted, not a tree that's a double.
And
Two
that was what
babies
we're,
who were very close together.
Yeah.
So then they grafted right here instead of
So then
instead
that's so
of
they're
one
weak.
tree that is a double trunk. So that's why they're not that, they can fall like this because they don't have a full root system around each tree. You see what I mean?
Yep,
that's what
I think
worried the
that's-
arborist as well.
so that makes sense that made the arborist anxious.
Yeah, it's not a good, they're not that stable. And they're, they're just not that stable.
Okay, what's the next trees? Deb, do you have another photo?
Yeah, I do. This is that existing retaining wall. So those are the trees from a different angle.
I don't see anything different yet.
Beautiful Kusa.
The nice
The-
looking tree with the orange tape though. It's
Can
the
you
same
see
photo.
the two trees? What do you mean it's the same photo?
It's the same photo that
What does
that
that
we've been looking at.
mean?
It's a lovely photo.
Ugh.
What's that tree in the back with the white flowers? That's in blossom
Kusa
right now?
dogwood.
Dogwood.
Oh, nice.
Kusa, Korean.
The
Does
Korean
that look
dogwood, that's what-
different? Does that look
Nope.
different?
Same one.
Deb, I'm gonna stop your sharing and just have you restart the sharing.
You're stopping my sharing? Is that even
Try
right?
again.
Can you do that?
Turns out he can.
Okay.
Share again.
I
All
also
right.
have pictures in the application if you want me to share those.
So why can't I get to my desktop? Darn it. I'm not a very good sharer. Can you see that?
Nope.
Hmm.
But don't you share, you hit the green button at the bottom and then you have to go to,
So I hit that. Can you see a screen?
no, we just see the same 9 blocks of people.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. What if I hit share?
Ah, there you go.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, go away
Okay.
now. Go away. Yep, I'm good. Thank you. Getting help from the peanut gallery. Okay, so you can see those.
Yes.
Alright.
Okay, so what trees are these?
So those are the, so those are the 2 that are right by the house. Those are the big ones. That
That
are
like number 2 and number 3 or something?
No, no. these
15
are
and
again-
16.
these
Oh,
are
the
again
same
15
two
and
that we were
16
just looking
different
at?
angle.
Okay,
Okay, can you see that picture?
yeah, of the,
Yep, yep.
Steps
So
and
those are
patio.
them right there.
those are the same two trees, 15 and 16?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So this is the existing retaining wall.
Okay, this is the part that's staying or going?
No, this is the patio that is going.
Okay,
Okay, those are those two trees from the other angle.
yep,
Okay, there's additional trees. They're really tall, obviously, the pine trees. But those are the additional pine trees down below that wall. Can you see how that
Okay.
one's marked?
yep.
So that's below that wall. So there's a cluster of pine trees right there. So that's what it looks like at the back of the house.
Those the ones that are like labeled 1, 2, and 3 or something?
Yeah,
I have those closer if you
okay.
want me to pull them up.
All right, go for it. Wasn't that worth all of that pain?
Well, now you learned how.
Thank you. I had to hit share.
Yeah, there's always a trick.
Um,
I
Did
had
we
a
ever
couple of
see-
things if you are interested.
So what's number 8? Did we ever figure out what's tree number 8?
Yeah, I'll show it to you if you give me a second. So let me zoom out here. So this is 1, 2, and 3, which is a cluster. This is the current retaining wall here.
Okay. And you have to bump that out. So
here.
you can get the building in, so those trees are in the way.
Yeah, not necessarily on the way, but you see how they're leaning towards the house,
Okay,
and they're also, splitting and really leaning towards the retaining wall and the house, and that was the main concern here, because the retaining wall will actually go this way. So basically, it does not really touch the trees, but is how when you look at it from the actual lawn and look up, they come all the way to the middle of the lawn and very close to the house because they're leaning so much.
and this is the arborist report that you're
Yes.
showing us?
This is the report. So he shows the trees here, and then he basically discusses 1, 2, and 3. And I'll show you number 8 in a second. And then 15 and 16. So 15 and 16, we look at Deb's picture, and that is number 6 now. Also very close to the wall with multiple branches and showing a lot of shedding.
Yeah, now that portion of the wall is not going anywhere. And what is like 4, 5, 14, 13, 14, like a bunch of other trees that are around 6? Are they all nice trees?
Yeah, they're all nice, and we have the list. So let me show
And
you.
they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
But number 6, is it?
So actually,
evergreen
they're
or
all
not?
hardwood trees and some other pines. They're all staying. So basically, with it's pretty much that those pines are really, softwood and
It's the
the-
white pines and the hemlock, the Canadian hemlock there.
yes, and the hemlock. The issue is that it's on top of the retaining wall. He felt that as we remove mostly, this tree, that when that hemlock starts to grow and gets to 60, 70 feet, it doesn't have enough room for the roots. All this lawn area is actually filled, and he feels that it may not be an issue at the moment, but come years from now, it will be a big issue to have that big of a tree right on top of the retaining wall. This about 4 feet from the retaining wall. That's a concern that he had. And then we have 3 ornamental trees here that we will transplant. If we remove this, we will transplant here, maybe a little further from the pool. And those are, we didn't mark it, we didn't thought of marking it. The one, a dogwood, an azalea, and
Oh, the pretty dogwood that's a blossom that I just asked about?
yes. So that's one, the one that you saw, it's here. The one I'm talking about is here, but about, it's same tree. Is where the pavilion will go.
So what else you said there's three that you're transplanting. What are the other two?
We have a double life viburnum, an azalea, and the Korean dogwood. Those are the three.
Elsie, you got all that? Do we need him to show? Do we need him to show those three trees that are being transplanted and where they're going to be planted to?
Yes.
And we need the fence put where it actually will be placed so that it's not confusing.
I have a question
Yep.
about the hemlock. How big is that hemlock right now?
Let me look.
The diameter? 8 inches? Okay.
Yes.
So that's not a big hemlock. Let me tell you that hemlocks, you do have to take care of them because they get the woolly adelgid.
Mhm.
But that kind of retaining wall, I do not think that the arborist is correct, that is going to be a problem. Certainly not for 20 years or 30 years or maybe even 40 years. And by that time, it will send its roots under that retaining wall. That's just a loose rock retaining wall. That's not a big giant concrete retaining wall with a 4-foot footing. So I don't believe that's going to ever be a problem. You may not want to take care of an eastern hemlock, and you may not want to have it there, but I don't think that retaining wall is going to be a problem for that hemlock in your lifetime. That's just my opinion. In terms of it dying or falling over or something.
No,
you have to take care of it. It's expensive. And you may not like it there.
Is the hemlock itself particularly good for habitat? Is it a quality tree that we would like to protect?
Well, I mean, all evergreen trees are our habitat, especially for winter birds, and also the seeds. They have millions of little cones that have millions of seeds. So, I mean, the problem is that they do get woolly adelgid, so that if you're going to have a hemlock, you're going to have to be kind of committed, if it gets woolly adelgid, to treating it, or it will die. So the question is, does it have woolly adelgid right now?
I don't think so, as far as I can tell.
I mean, it's a native tree, it's a timber tree. It's a lovely, it's hard to grow grass under it when it gets really big, but an 8-inch hemlock is not a big hemlock. It's not.
No, it's not big right now.
Yeah, and I don't think that wall's ever going to be a problem. So I don't know what the other commissioners think, but I don't think you have to take it down, is what I'm saying. For those reasons, you may want to take it down, but not for any, damage or anything, any other reason.
You're comfortable with the white pines that they pointed out?
I am. I think the white pines are dangerous. The ones that I saw. Yeah, I think they can fall totally.
Because there's 1, 2,
and also that black walnut might be worth some money, by the way.
What did you just say?
The black walnut might be worth some money.
Oh, 17. He's not taking
That's a big black walnut, and people that make furniture like sometimes they pay quite a lot of money for black walnuts.
That's Dave's.
Want to sell it?
Where is it?
Where is it in the plan?
Yeah,
But
I'm
that's
not
a big
seeing
black
number
walnut.
17.
Well,
I found it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's near the infiltration system.
I wanted to show it because it is basically the only tree around the filtration system, just to show that we were not actually affecting any trees.
I mean, it's just that it, I mean, I'm not suggesting you sell it because it's clearly it's near, you know, the zones and everything. But it is a very valuable tree in the commercial industry. That's all.
Okay, but we're not touching it.
I know you're not. I'm
That's
just
great.
telling you.
That's good. Don't touch it. It's good. So we do need to see where the proposed trees are going to be planted. And how do we feel about the potential of planting them in the wetland, those 12 that he's suggesting? And is it realistic that, is the idea of planting 12 because, is it 12 or is it 6?
12.
Is it 12 because 11 of them might not live? Or is it 12 because you're hoping to have 12 big gigantic trees back there?
Are you asking me?
Well, yeah, I think I'm
gonna
asking.
get
you.
them to leave, and I'm gonna submit my 1-year report and my 2-year report, and we're gonna make them leave.
You're gonna make
Because
the,
I'm not about planting 12 trees to please you now, but because I want white cedars in my little property.
because you
yard.
want the white cedars, that's
Well, I
something
mean,
that is,
I want to do my part, right?
that you're
I like
passionate,
nature.
you're passionate about the wetlands and the trees that could grow in those
Yeah,
wetlands. I
and
mean, I
I'd be
just didn't
happy
know, I
to-
mean, they're big. I'm not the tree person,
Yeah,
obviously. But I'm just trying, I heard they were very big, so I'm thinking, wow, so are they all gonna grow that big? And is that a good thing, or is that,
it may be too much, and I would
is
be
it too
happy.
much?
I read also in your mitigation plan that it doesn't necessarily need to be in my property. If I could get some white cedars anywhere in the town, I'll be happy to do so. If that will, fill the requirements.
Well, no, the requirements are, our policy is you replace, for every tree that comes down, you replace it with 2 trees, or it could be 1 tree and 4 shrubs. Is that the
Yes.
1 tree and 4
They're a
shrubs?
hazard, unless they're a hazard.
Unless they're a hazard, but I mean.
Yeah, but there's also a clause there that I could donate money and go to the expense of planting any trees within the town.
Yeah.
I have enough room for many trees, so.
You have room for many trees. You don't have to plant them other places in town. So I think we want to understand where they're gonna go, but
Yes.
I also, sometimes there's a wetland filling or a wetland mitigation, and people have to plant in the wetlands because we're really asking them to fix it. You don't have, you haven't hurt the wetlands, so it's a different ask
Right.
that we don't usually get. So I'm asking the commission members how they feel about that. Are we okay with the planting 12 buckets, 6-gallon buckets in the wetlands? And I assume that this is being dug by hand. You're not, Allison?
I would prefer that you plant 6 of them in a wetland in very specific places, and that you have to fence them while they're babies, so
Yeah.
that they will not be eaten. Like until the foliage gets to be above like 9-10 feet. And then the other trees that are required be something like an understory tree that has fruit, like a pagoda dogwood or shad. They can be planted a little, outside of the wetland.
Mhm.
But I would love to see six of them planted that
Yeah.
you can see on this side that are in little, have wet feet and are in a little hummock, and that you protect them. I think it would be cool.
Yeah, you read my mind. I think as I go and now assess how much space we have and propose a specific location, we can look at how many we can fit so we can protect them properly and make sure they're in the wetland. And assess, make sure we're not gonna disturb the area a lot.
And you might be allowed to plant them in that easement, but I doubt it. So.
Yes, I would like to take a look at the other side of the brook. So Clay and Debbie get to see them every day when they drive by?
So the
Um,
easement doesn't continue on that side.
No, it's right on.
It's just on that side. Okay.
On this side of the brook.
Probably supposed to contain the brook, but the brook moved.
Maybe.
in the easement. But, okay, so what we need is.
I have a
soil
few
test-
other comments too.
Okay, soil test pit, the water line shown to the pavilion, the location, the trees that you're relocating and where they're going to be relocated to, and the proposed planting of all of your trees and the 6 trees that are going to go into the wetland.
Yes.
And Deb, you have more. Oh, I had one more question about the permeable pavement and what you're expecting that to look like. You have, you called out porcelain pavers or similar, Belgard.
Yes, let me see where that is in the plan.
Yeah. So are you know what you're getting into with this, the permeable paver. I'm glad to see them. I just want to make sure that you've embraced this as much as you've embraced your trees.
Yes, so these are 2 foot, 2 feet by 2 feet porcelain pavers. They're separated by 4 millimeters, need to be kept clean, otherwise it will clog with time. So
You know what you're getting. Great.
I know I'm now.
Okay, Deb, you had something to add?
Can I ask one more question since I need to come back for the planting? There is one tree. Let me share my other screen. Can you see that tree?
No.
Oh.
You have to share your screen.
Okay.
We've gone through this.
It's not
good.
just
There you
me.
are. I guess-
Can
Yes.
you see? Okay.
Where is that tree?
That tree, I'll show it to you in a second in the map, but basically it's covering an area of about 30 by 20. So, you know, we have quite a bit of space here. And apparently this tree at one point, when this tree was very young, fell on top. And this tree has been growing like this forever. So there is quite, now let me go back to my plan. That tree is right here. So all this space is at the moment empty and we could plant, but if we also remove that tree, we basically could replant this whole area with a good variety of new trees and actually remove the tree that seems to be suffering a lot. I wanted your opinion on that. I'm okay to leave it as is, but I would love your opinion on that, Allison's opinion.
Yeah, I would love Allison's opinion on that tree. Because I see it as wildlife habitat, but maybe there's a reason for it to get better. Did you see the picture of the tree, Allison?
Yeah, can you pull it up again so I
Yep.
can talk to it? You know, trees in the woods, they
They
can be wacky and you know, animals don't mind. I mean, it looks bad, but you know what? I mean, there's lots of little squirrels that live on that. I mean, this is a wild forest.
It's living like that, so
It's fine. It's not
Okay.
going, it's fine. I would just
So we're leaving the tree.
don't stress
Right.
out about it.
I wanted to say leave the tree. I'm happy.
Okay.
if it's not in pain, it's not in pain.
It's not. in pain.
I thought I would ask.
Okay.
It's just relaxing.
All right.
All right. So that tree stays. Good to know. That was going to be my opinion, but I'm glad to hear that Allison agrees with me. Okay, Deb, you still had questions.
Yeah, just a couple things. So it's in, the project's in Riverfront area and we didn't get, like an alternatives analysis or anything really, discussing the Riverfront area.
Do we need an alternatives analysis when the retaining wall is there? We still need an alternatives analysis?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was only if you expanded beyond. So you'll need an alternatives analysis for working within the riverfront area to make sure there's nowhere else you can put this pool.
If he is doing plantings in the wetland or 25-foot buffer, we need a waiver request.
And it sounds like we're going to allow him to plant by hand 6 trees. So you'll need to request a waiver for working within the 25-foot no disturb zone. And I guess that includes the wetland.
And yeah, and we didn't get any check for the bylaw. I only got a check for the state.
No, I paid the state by credit card when I submitted electronically and I sent your check to you.
Right, but we only got one check. We didn't get a check for working for the bylaw. The bylaw is a separate,
Okay.
separate fee.
All right, I will kind of call Clay and figure that out.
Sure.
Yep. I'll send an email. I'll figure it. All right.
Yeah. That's my spiel.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing. The wetland report states that Alder Brook is a tributary to the Shawsheen River.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
That ain't true.
Shawsheen Rivers and
Yeah.
Andover. Charles River would be probably the correct
Charles
choice.
River, not the Shawsheen.
Do I need to correct that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Now the alternative analysis, I have nowhere else to go other than my lawn. How do we do
There
that?
is in the Wetlands Protection Act under the riverfront section,
Yep.
there's performance standards that you kind of hit one by one to
Yep.
say, and you answer each of them and you say why you can or cannot do whatever that specific performance standard is. And you
Okay.
just go down the list one by one and you write it all up.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Bill, Peter, Allison?
So do you want the test pit data before you issue the order?
I think you own this property. You're living in this house right now.
Mhm.
I think you have, I mean, should be easy for you to get that test pit done.
Yeah, I can get it done.
Yeah, I think you're gonna feel better to know that your system is not gonna change. And do you know if you have any ledge or anything underneath there for the swimming pool?
No.
I mean, you might, it's always nice to know what you have underneath when you're gonna dig a big hole.
Yep.
So while you have somebody out there digging one hole for the soils, you might want to dig a bigger
Dig
hole.
another
For
one? Yeah.
But we
Um,
need the test pit for the soils to make sure the soil will actually infiltrate and that the groundwater is.
No, I knew this on the 10 meetings that I watched. Everybody proposed to do it at the construction time, and that had been okay. That's why I didn't do it. Otherwise, I would have done it because it's.
Oh
Just,
no, we switched that up recently because we had a few people give us an attitude.
all right. No, I have no problem with it.
Sorry, Sue. Have you been there the whole time and I missed you?
I've had technical difficulties.
Oh,
Yes.
do you have any questions or comments about this proposal?
No, actually, I've been able to listen to most of it. I had to leave because of technical difficulties. No, I don't. I don't. It just one question that dawned on me with the 6, when they're talking about the 6 trees planted in the wetlands, is that including the 25-foot buffer? These trees that are being planted.
There's the 6 small trees that have to be in, basically sitting in water.
In the water.
Okay.
So
in the
they're
wetland itself.
gonna be in the wetlands, not in the buffer zone even.
The cedar, okay.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
special cedars and he's gonna go
Okay.
out with his shovel.
That's nice.
Allison thinks it's nice, so I'm with her on that. Does anybody in the audience have any questions or comments?
Janet, I have one more thing I thought about. If during, is it okay?
Yep.
If during the test holes, they found that groundwater is going to be a problem, there should be a plan for dewatering as well. So they'll probably learn that during the soil test.
Yeah, that's a special condition.
Okay, thank you.
Clay, anybody in the audience have any raising their hands?
There's no raised hands.
Is there anybody in the audience?
The updated planting tree, you want that certified by an engineer again for the location of the trees, or?
The location of the trees, you can just tell us where the location of the trees is gonna be.
Okay,
It doesn't need to be by an engineer.
okay, thank you.
As long as that's where they're gonna land when we go out there and say, are they really there? They're gonna be in wherever you marked them on that plan, so
I have
plan
a,
accordingly. You did such a nice job presenting. I'm sure you can measure.
I have a long tape measure, yeah.
Okay, so we need to continue this. Do you want to continue it? So you have options, I believe. 2 weeks is June 10th, but you will need to have the test bid done next week, which is a holiday, could be tricky. You might want to wait. And so you get your test bids done.
I will make it happen.
Okay, so you want to come back June 10th?
Yes, please.
Okay, can I have a motion to continue 381 South Street, DP file number 234866 till June 10th at 7 PM?
So moved.
All in, I know, I just see, I'm seeing somebody from 391, the Chadwicks. Did you have any comment or concern about this property that you'd like to say anything?
No, sorry, my battery on the computer went flat, so I had to switch to my phone.
Okay, no problem. I see
Sorry.
you like the next, you're on Dedham Ave, and I'm like, you're close, so I want to make sure that, you're on the other business. Sorry. Okay. So I lost where I was.
You need a second.
I need a second. Allison, I think seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Allison. All in favor? Peter?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Janet? Aye. Great. Thank you very much. We will see you on June 10th. And
Thank
if you
you.
can't get something done, then you can ask to continue it to 2 weeks after that,
Yeah, of
So
course.
we need all the information a week ahead of time.
which is
You got it.
next Thursday.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
Good luck. Thank you.
thank you, have a good night.
Okay, so the only other thing on your agenda, 391 Dedham Ave?
In our 185 Brookside discussion.
We'll be cutting the hedges back.
Oh, okay. So so other business, 391 Dedham Ave, request for certificate of compliance. Deb, you want to, or
That's a Clay.
for Clay?
So we did hear from town council. Chris Heap was able to review the proposed covenant conservation restriction that is required for that certificate of compliance. He had a couple minor redlining that was mostly clerical. It was sent back to the applicants, and their lawyer, their attorney reviewed it as well and came back with their own edits, again, fairly clerical in nature. I did provide that final edit with the underlining to the commission. In addition to that, Chris Heap provided 2 comments which were less clerical. The first comment was in regards to Massachusetts statutes, which actually limits the time that things are technically, if they're listed as in perpetuity and indefinite, Massachusetts puts a time limit on them for 25 years and needs renewal. So conservation restrictions that are assigned for need to be renewed kind of on an ongoing 25-year basis. That means that if this is intended to be protected in perpetuity, we'll have to either word it in such a way, include wording that that extends it beyond 25 years and is renewed before the 25 years is up, or word it in such that it's intended to be in perpetuity, but recognize that after 25 years, it may not hold the same legal bearing as something intended to be in perpetuity is.
So how does he want us to phrase it if we want to keep it in perpetuity? To say 25 years? I'm like kind of confused by that whole thing. That was seems.
Yeah, his comment kind of in verbatim is that this restriction, although styled as one that will run forever, will only really be enforceable for 25 years. Based on a quirk of the Massachusetts law, restrictions on real property that run in perpetuity only last for 25 years and then expire as a matter of law and cannot be renewed. One exception to this rule is a conservation restriction, which pursuant to statute is allowed to last forever. Another exception to the rule is restriction that run for a specific term of years, say 60 years. These kinds of restrictions will expire after 25 years, regardless of how long the term actually is, but may be renewed by filing extensions at the registry, or in this case, at the land court. Based on the foregoing.
Wait, stop. So the conservation restriction still expires in 25 years, even though it could go forever. Somebody has to renew it?
Yeah, within the 25 years. So it would have to be renewed.
By who renews it? The property owner?
Them or us. I don't know that it specifies who has to renew it, as long as it is one of the stakeholders in the restriction. And we could certainly get clarification on who has the right to and who would be responsible to do such.
Okay.
So the kind of the advice there was that if it's okay that it's only good for 25 years, and you know, if the idea is that in 25 years the vegetation will be established, then it would be hard to overturn something aside from having a new filing anyway, then we can go that route. Or if there's a desire to make it last longer, we can revise the declaration to make it last for 99 years, but someone will need to renew the extension before the expiration of the first 25 years.
Well, it's a solid wetland boundary. Is that true? I mean, it's a solid wetland. Right. I mean, it's a full-blown wetland. It's not something small, and there's a river close by.
Correct.
So are we comfortable with this as potentially expiring? It seems like they're all going to expire within 25 years. So what do we have in front of us? Is it the one we have is the one we're going to approve, and that's everybody's reviewed? I didn't print that. I have it in my folder.
I told Clay we'd put up a sticky note to remind ourselves in 25 years to take care of it.
That's where it becomes.
Like, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to remember. How lucky if I remember 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Functionally, I think that's where land trusts have more power to hold conservation restrictions, because they have the infrastructure, should have the structure to have some system to remind themselves as a function of their purpose. Whereas it's a little more difficult for a municipal board to have something set up so that somebody's reminded in 25 years.
So we should have a list of all our conservation restrictions and like when they expire, and every year we kind of go through and see if any are
I
coming.
think we do have a database. With
Okay,
them
good.
in
All
it.
right. So what's our plan here? This is when we need an attorney on our board. So are we, he reviewed it, he's okay with it, he's just explaining that it expires in 25 years, and we have a few ways around that, but at this stage, we've reviewed the one in hand, and the Chadwicks also have, and we're pretty much good to go with this. Is that a true statement?
Yes. Yeah, so the two options are revise it with a 99-year deadline and make sure that we renew it in 25 years, or keep it as is, have it listed as in perpetuity, but know that it will expire after, the enforceability of it will expire after 25 years.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Who, does anybody have an opinion on one or the other, A or B?
I agree.
99 years or 20, or the one that's in front of us, and let the commission in 25 years figure it out. Either way, they're going to be
That's
figuring it out.
passing the buck big time.
I'll let that read in the meeting minutes. 25. Sorry. Okay, so do we need a motion to approve? Is this the only thing?
This is for issuing the certificate of compliance.
compliance. This was the last piece. So if everything else is set, this is the last piece we get to issue. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need a motion.
Before you issue the certificate of compliance, the second comment from Chris Heap was suggesting that with land court, it can sometimes be difficult to navigate to get things recorded. So his recommendation was that you get proof of recording, successful recording at the land court of the conservation restriction before you issue the certificate of compliance. So tonight, I would propose that you have a motion to accept this conservation, this covenant, as it's been reviewed by town council and the applicant's council. And then once we get confirmation that it has been successfully recorded and we have that book and page or that certificate number from the registry, then we release that COC, and you can even make that intent tonight. But the recommendation was to hold the COC until it was recorded.
Okay, we can do that. Is that okay with you as the applicants?
My only concern is that I did notice that the town's council indicated that this might not be accepted by the land court. And if that's the case, what happens then?
Why will it not be accepted by the land court?
I don't know. They said he said that there are, I think he says along the lines of typically there are problems with accepting this or these types of restrictions. Unless I've misunderstood it.
As opposed to the regular side of the registry, like specific land court?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he says.
Yeah, I specifically says it can be tricky sometimes, that oftentimes, assuming we're okay with the text of the restriction, I suggest you require the applicant to record the document and confirm that they have successfully done so before we hand over the certificate of compliance. So I think it's more if a problem is revealed trying to get it into land court, then we'll know that and we can address that.
Okay.
Issuing the COC. My recommendation as staff would be to cross that bridge when we get there, and if it is not accepted by land court, we can either look for alternatives or figure out how to, send it to you to figure out how to, what avenues we have to protect this area otherwise.
No, I completely understand. My just concern is that this is just going to carry on and 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 on.
Well, we'll know soon enough. So who brings it to land court? Does the property owner, or do we do?
Diane, I think will probably do.
Oh, Diane.
Yeah,
does.
I can record that. I can e-record that, I'm sure,
Okay.
as long as they accept it.
Okay, so that will happen soon enough within the next couple of weeks. I assume you will try to bring that to be recorded, and then if it's not able to get done, we'll come up with Plan B. And if it's able to get done, we will release the certificate of compliance that we will have all approved tonight.
Okay, perfect.
And Diane, does this impact our application to build our tiny patio?
No.
Okay.
They'll issue, Debbie says that order will be issued tomorrow, Deb?
Yeah, I'm going back in the office tomorrow.
Okay.
And Deb, does that go by kind of regular mail or email?
No,
or-
it'll go by certified mail, and you will also get it emailed to you.
Lovely.
Perfect.
And when
And
will
then,
we,
Sorry?
and then Diane, when you receive that, you file it with somebody else. Is that
land
correct?
court, land court again?
So you
Okay.
want me to send it to Diane? Or
Well,
Diane, you
both-
want to pick it up or something, or?
If you just send that like you normally do as an email, because
Yep.
that's all I need. As long as.
Okay,
the
but
original
who am I
signature-
sending the hard copy to?
I would send it to the Chadwicks.
Okay,
I just need the, will that also tomorrow, when will we be getting the other document for the restriction? Are we all set? Do we have that final document at this point?
I think we do. I
Right.
think. Oh, sorry.
Clay,
Clay,
I
do
don't
we
know,
have
or-
the,
I think the final document just has to be polished. It just has to go out of that, it has to be edited out of the review and accept the changes. So I think that that's more just clerical. I think that it could be in its final form tomorrow.
Okay,
that, Claire, is that you taking care of that or somebody else taking care of that?
I'm happy to do that. Yeah, it's just a matter of accepting changes, removing the draft template. So
yeah, I haven't been involved with the
Yep.
restriction at all, so.
so we'll
Okay,
get the
so
order,
you'll take care of that.
yeah, we'll get the order tomorrow. We'll record that. And then when we get the restriction, I'll then record that.
Right,
Okay,
and then hopefully it'll go through easy and then you'll get the COC next meeting.
okay.
Perfect. Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, all right, so we need a motion, to issue the certificate of compliance pending the receipt of, is that, you're looking at me funny, Deb.
I don't think that you want to use those words.
motion to approve the conservation restriction covenant.
Oh, okay, and we want a motion to approve the conservation restriction covenant. Don't laugh at me. In the bottom corner.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Sue.
I
All in
totally
favor?
feel like
Pete-
the Brady Bunch right
I
now.
know, exactly. Peter,
God.
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, I. Thank you. Anything, do we make anything else?
Nope,
We don't issue a certificate.
no. Nope.
That we just said we were gonna do it once we have that in hand, or we have to actually vote at once it's in hand?
Yeah,
Okay. I thought we were
Yes.
literally holding it and then they were gonna give it to you.
No, we don't want to vote prematurely.
I tried. Okay, so we, are we done with, 391 Dedham?
We are.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what's next?
Uh,
Can I ask one question about 50 Lehigh? And I know it's in the write-up, but I didn't specifically ask that the waiver fee be waived because that was just for plantings. At this point, it's not going to be for the fence anymore. So I know you'll talk about that later, but I just thought I'd remind you that we're looking for that waiver.
Let me see, hold on. Yeah, I have in here that you requested a waiver.
Okay, yeah, of the
So-
fee.
Of the fee and of the working
Yeah.
the 25 foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's in the order already.
Okay,
So
thank you.
they'll vote on it.
All right, I'll let you talk about that. Have a nice evening.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So when we talk about those 3 projects that I wasn't involved with at all, should I not be involved with the remaining part, or how does that work? Because I assume I don't sign them.
4. Yeah, since you didn't watch the meeting videos, then you shouldn't,
I won't sign them, and I don't need to vote for them, but
No.
I can just listen.
Just
Okay,
That's
so
right.
As
do we have,
thing, I think that anybody can sign a document once once a quorum of the commission has passed something. So I believe that while you shouldn't be voting, signatures are just the will of the commission at large.
Good to hear, because I sometimes sign it by mistake. I forget which one. Okay, so are we going on to those various orders, or did you need to discuss something else?
We left the 185 Brookside Road visit till the end. The enforcement. So I had sent you some pictures, Janet. So Clay and I went to 185 Brookside and met with the owner and her father, and took a walk around. So the main purpose of our visit was to see if the site was stable, if the erosion controls were still in good repair, and what has been growing since all the vegetation was removed.
Okay.
So I have pictures that I can share. So Janet, she had brought up putting up a retaining wall at one point, and you specifically said that she couldn't do that unless she came back to request that. So one of the pictures I sent you was of a loose retaining wall that they installed themselves. And it's.
You think you're showing pictures or you're not?
No, I'm not yet. I'm still, I can't do two things at once. I'm
Okay,
talking.
that's fine. Just checking, just checking. Okay.
And, okay, I'm afraid of the whole screen share thing right now. So just let me get through this. Okay. So she stated, so I said, you put up this retaining wall. Janet specifically said not to. And she said, well, since the rocks were already here, they're just in a different configuration. So, all right, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to.
So they didn't bring rocks on site.
They didn't bring rocks on site. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Nice
Okay,
photo.
Okay, so this is the rear of the property. This is the remainder of the erosion controls. I think you can see there.
Does she understand why those are not in good condition?
She does not care at all. So this is looking out into the back. So this is where all the vegetation was removed. So Clay and I walked through there, and the main vegetation is garlic mustard.
Is it mushy when you walk through?
No, no. So this is a close up. It's a lot of garlic mustard, oriental bittersweet. There's like raspberry, very few natives. So this is kind of the wall that they've put together. Remember, we said they could put grass in.
Yeah.
So
what's this channel I'm seeing?
Let's see. Yeah, that's it's just an area that isn't grassed. There's probably water coming off of it. I wouldn't be surprised. So she was very argumentative. I explained that the commission is really, giving her a break. That, we required that, she do the restoration plantings. I asked her if she was still in the same position money-wise, which she went on about how she is. So she has no intention of putting in the restoration plantings in the near future. And so essentially, I guess it's stable as far as the wetland goes. I don't think anything's going to wash into the wetland. It's pretty much all invasives that have grown in. She put together this loose retaining wall.
What are these bottles or something I'm seeing?
Because she's planted her own little plants in there. So she's
Oh,
put
those are
shrubs in
plants?
there. She's put together some kind of plants up above there. So we ended up with me saying, you know, Janet said not to put in a retaining wall, and even though this is just loose rocks, so she was very upset that she thought I was making fun of her retaining wall or something. But it ended with her not wanting to talk to us anymore and telling us all of our anything else has to go through her lawyer.
Okay.
She doesn't want to talk with us about this anymore.
Okay. She's stressed.
Yes, it was very. I don't know.
So,
Clay might have things to add because he was there as well.
Clay, you have things to add? And I was ready to go the first week and then I got pushed a week and so then
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I definitely think at this point the site is relatively stable. The concerns about erosion at this point are potentially long-term concerns, but not anything that's going to be washing out in a major storm. That meadow that we're looking at now, there are pockets that look good, like it's revegetating nicely, and then there's pockets that are just dominated by competing invasives. With the garlic mustard is seemingly competing with these little sprouts of the bittersweet coming in. And I think that's a long-term concern that if it's not addressed, they're already established, and you can see them on some of the neighboring properties. The bittersweet crosses the other side of the river, so I don't think that they were introduced in bad soil brought in, but they're definitely something that if any plantings go in right now without addressing them, they're going to get swallowed up before they have a chance to get 2 years of survivability. And then I think that there's a disconnect when trying to work with the homeowners about what it is we're looking for and what it is that they think we're valuing. I think that they're not quite understanding that there's performance standards and a scientific basis, and that while they may be experiencing some financial hardship, I definitely think that that is something they need to take up with their previous contractor, and that these invasives definitely need to get addressed, even if we look for long-term solutions beyond that.
So does this mean that we have to get town council involved to start dealing with her attorney?
I think we're kind of at a crossroads with her. She, you know, I had told her that we wanted her to put in the new erosion control, and she just outright refused to do that. We asked her not to, you know, do the retaining wall, and you know, she just literally outright ignored that. She, you know, she's not cooperating with us at all anymore. She just keeps talking about the money. She said if it was just like $5,000 for the plantings, that she would have, you know, scraped that together. But then she was talking about how it's like $100,000 now, and
Well, she said she needed that well. So is it the meadow that needs to be replanted and not the wooded area behind it? Like she was talking about going over and having mats put down and going over, like, was she trying to go on the other side where all those thick trees are? Is that where the bittersweet is?
yeah, the bittersweet's definitely in the trees, but there's small ones sprouting in the meadow.
Was that part of the enforcement back behind, like where those trees are, or is it what we're seeing is the area?
So
that we-
they cleared all the way to the stream.
And where's the stream?
The stream is right in the area of those trees.
In front of them or behind them?
The shadowing on the left of the back there, that's where the stream kind of goes through. So that tree in the very center of the picture is on this side of the bank. And
Yeah.
then behind that tree and going left is where the stream is.
Yeah, and there's, I don't have them up, but there's piles of wood chips and such within the meadow as well, that they were supposed to clean up. And she just keeps claiming that she's had landscapers come and they won't touch that area.
I mean, it looks to me like that meadow area, if we leave the trees, you could.
I mean,
I
there
guess I
there
don't even
used to
know.
be trees and shrubs and all kinds of stuff in that meadow.
Right.
And then it was
so-
cleared and was right down to dirt.
So then it now, and so it's a matter of planting trees in that meadow that don't
Well,
get
they
swallowed
gave
up
us a
by
whole planting plan.
Yeah, but it seemed like it was too extensive, and I mean that was that.
Well, like I said to her, she chose the species and she chose expensive species that, you know, some aren't going to be easy to get. And I said, if you just changed your species, you know, high bush blueberry is not very expensive. You know, you could do all these plantings for $5,000. You know, she's the one that chose the species, and now she's
not
saying that
hearing
she
that
can't
she could
afford
do
to do it.
Oh, Debbie,
Yes.
if she did that wall herself, you can plant a high bush blueberry yourself. Give me a break.
No, no one will go back there. No one goes into that meadow.
Oh, she can do it.
No, oh no.
Well, if she did the
will.
wall herself.
Oh,
why
I
can't
know. I
you
brought that
still-
up to her. I brought it up to her.
I mean, I think you got to pick your battles. I don't know if I'd pick the battle about the wall, but I would pick the battle about, you got to put some trees back there, and you want to plant them yourself. You can just put them
She
in a
can't
wheelbarrow.
afford the trees. She can't
What?
afford, she
Well,
can't afford
so-
anything.
So the problem is,
She's going to have
can't
to. How
afford
does she pay the
this-
taxes?
yeah,
How does
she
she
can't
afford it?
afford. So what's our you know, our plan? Because I would
I mean, I
like
told
to
her
come
that
back.
we could be fining her every single day. You know, and she basically says, well, I don't have any money to pay fines. So
But
I said
there's
the commission's
bankruptcy
trying to work with you. They're trying to work with you. They've extended you this time. Okay, we just wanted to make sure it was stable, you know, and they were being very understanding about you not having the funds. But you were literally told not to do this wall without getting permission first, you know, so that's not working with us, you know, and she just is like, you're just, you know, just pretty much told me off, and her dad left and said, talk to my lawyer.
So that sounds like we need to talk to her lawyer. I mean, so what do we need? Do we
A lot of
need
money.
a plan, and maybe it's a new plan that doesn't have expensive plants in it, that puts back a wooded area in this meadow? Is that what we want?
So if you want to play, she's not going to spend any more money on field resources updating a plan.
Well, she's not going to talk to us anyway, so we have to talk to the attorney. I think what we
Right.
need to understand what we're asking for so that we can have our town council start making progress here.
Mhm.
Because the intention is, we have an enforcement order on this site,
Yeah.
and they had an issue, you know,
They proposed this restoration plan.
and we want them to start
Implement it.
restoring it.
Right.
And she's saying no.
And
She's
if they
saying
want
no.
to make amendments to it, they can do it. But they have
Right.
to tell us that.
They have to tell us that. I mean, I'm willing, I
Put
feel
it
like
in
we're
their
listening.
court.
willing
They have to
listen.
produce something and act on it. And if they don't, we're going to start charging them by the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think do we send a letter saying that, like, what are we gonna do? Because we want to be able to get her attention, because our objective is to get this planted without having the invasives take over the entire town of Needham in the process.
Right.
So to do that, because she said she wanted to stay for 9 years, and we said, no, we can't do that. We need plan B. You know, we can't stay for, until your lawsuit gets resolved.
Right.
So, but does that mean we have to get our town council involved? Because, or do we send the letter, do we talk to town council and say, this is the situation, we have an enforcement order, they are not abiding by it. What's our plan of attack? Because our goal is to get this planted with something native that's not
Yeah.
invasive.
Mm-hmm. And we need the invasives removed at this point. And her whole, I mean, I'm sure you remember from the meetings, was she needs to make this property safe for her family. And that's what she
It's safe
keeps
now. She's
keeps
made it
falling
safe.
back on, making it safe. You know, her child can't go beyond that grass area. You know, it's, and somehow we're making her make it not safe.
But it is safe. At this moment, it is safe for her children. She has grass. She even has a little bunch of rocks that are holding back the grass, and she has her slide. So I guess she considers this safe.
Those
Yeah.
rocks are more dangerous than anything I've seen.
The
They're all-
rocks,
you kids walk on them, they can all tip over their feet.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
But we
So
didn't-
if you want, I can take a shot at drafting a letter, just explaining, you know, our jurisdiction, how the enforcement works, what we expected. And then I can send it to town council, have them look at it, see what they think, you know,
Yeah.
give us their opinion.
With a timeline, Debbie, with a timeline for them to react.
For the homeowner to react.
And when do you want that to be by?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's.
Well, yeah, I think talk to town council, but I think that we want a reaction in 60 days. 30 days, 60 days, I don't know. I mean, what's our reaction time?
Well, I mean, we're starting to get, you know, another couple weeks, we're gonna be into the hot weather where we're not gonna want her to plant a bunch of stuff till the fall,
But we
right?
want her to bring her something, because she's not gonna plant what's on that plan anyway. So we need a new plan that's gonna work. And if she can draw the plan herself, she doesn't need to hire field resources to do it.
Mhm.
So she needs to understand that we want that planted with trees.
Mhm.
And maybe underbrush also, but I think the underbrush is gonna get eaten up by all those invasives that she's never gonna get able to get rid of.
Yeah.
But if she plants some trees might survive. But she's
Yeah.
gonna have to deal with the bittersweet in some way, I think.
Mhm.
How big does garlic mustard get? Is it just gonna get thicker?
It's pretty thick. I mean, that's essentially what that that other picture is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it doesn't get
that's-
taller. It stays that height and just gets thick and you can't walk through it.
You can walk through it, but you know, nothing else is gonna grow there. Nothing native's gonna grow in there.
Will the tree grow if you plant a maple tree?
Yes.
Yeah. But who's gonna plant it? She's not gonna go in there, and they can't
Well-
find
well,
any
we still-
landscapers that will go in there.
I know,
Why?
but
What is she worried about? What is it, poisoned?
I don't know.
She
It's
said
the
that they
most
had
bizarre
to put
thing.
down mats because their equipment was gonna sink. But we don't need them to go in there with big equipment. We need them to just dig a hole. They can dig it with their hands and shovels and even a small bobcat. I mean, it's a wetland. We don't want them to be in there.
Yeah.
With heavy equipment. That's not the idea. But the idea is to plant something that's going to start killing back those invasives and whatever her plan is. I don't know how she's gonna get rid of them all.
Yeah.
But it
she's
wasn't
really
our
plan-
fault that her contractor went wild.
Right.
I mean, if she doesn't have a usable property anyway, she might as well make it pretty with native trees.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is some beautiful yard that she has now taken over.
Yep.
She wanted it to look like that. I don't think that was a rogue.
So if you want to at least maybe put some bullets down so you can have a conversation with town council about what the concerns are and what our action should be. so that it's clear that our goal here is to have a restored wetland in some manner. It does not have to be expensive plans, but the invasives need to be dealt with in some manner, and trees.
So do we want this letter to come from us or from town council?
I think it's gonna end up having to come from town council if she said she'd only deal with, I don't know, ask him, ask the town
Okay.
council.
Yeah,
Is
she
that
won't
fine
talk
if
with
it's-
us anymore, so.
Yeah, if she's now has said she won't talk to us anymore, we
Yeah.
don't have too many options. I mean, so we're gonna send her a letter and she's not gonna address it.
Right, right.
Or
Okay,
we send it to her attorney, maybe. We copy the attorney, we copy her. But I think it probably is gonna have to come from our town council because it's gone on for too long and she's now just ignoring us.
okay. I mean, I'll put together some kind of timeline to put on it,
Okay,
you know, so that we can see all the steps that we've gone through.
okay.
All right, so now you have 3 orders to look at.
I printed them. Even if I can't sign them. Did Peter take over this part or does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
I can do it since I know them. I read the orders too. They look clean.
Okay. So you
So-
might as well take back over the
Okay.
being the chair. I relinquish that responsibility to you or whatever.
Okay. All right, then we can go in order. 43 Cornell Road. That was mostly planting, the patio steps and stuff. Was there anything special about that order?
Yeah, so I had a couple highlighted spots. I'm just pulling it open now. This order, I removed some of our stock conditions like test pits because there's no subsurface work. It's all planting and hardscaping. The highlighted portions had to do with whether you wanted bounds or markers to go on the 25-foot. They're not proposing any work within the 25-foot no disturb zone. I wasn't sure if you wanted them to put the bounds. I think the bounds are going to be relatively hidden by the existing vegetation that's already in the 25-foot. And I can pull up a plan if anybody wants a refresher of the site. The other highlighted portions had to do with the mitigation plantings, because in this project, it was, if you recall, a retaining wall with a stairway and like a seating patio. And then it had to do with a surplus of planting beds that were full of native species, kind of in different locations between the 25-foot and the edge of the 100-foot. So it didn't seem like there was no vegetation removal. They weren't mitigating for cut trees. So I wasn't sure that it would be applicable to have them monitor and account for 75% survivability for all of those planting beds across the board, since there wasn't a clear threshold as to what the mitigation requirements are.
Right. So what would be the alternative? To just to identify some subset of the plantings that are the ones that we look at. Right, and this is not mitigation at all, right? This is just their planting.
Right. I think the conversion of lawn to the planting beds is essentially what is being considered as mitigation here. And I'll zoom in on the.
Oh, I see. So this is mitigation for the patio and the stairs and the retaining wall. Okay.
Correct, and I think that the establishment, in my opinion, the establishment of the planting beds is the conversion of lawn is what giving up, not necessarily the plantings themselves. On their plan, they did identify 25 woody species and 100 herbaceous plugs that they would be planting. And so we do have a planting list to go off of if we wanted to require the monitoring, but there's no threshold of those 125 plants that it tangibly equate to a 79 square foot patio that's going in my opinion. So if it were up to me, I think I would remove the monitoring, or only do the monitoring for the planting beds that are abutting the 25 foot, maybe the 25 foot area. And I could word it that way as well.
Right. So the important part is that it's not lawn anymore, and that there are native plants growing in it. So yeah, I mean, if we were to look at the more sensitive areas where they're doing this and focus on that, that makes more sense to me. Anyone else have a thought about this?
Agree with you, Peter.
Right, so it could be just that back area. Yeah.
So what I could have them do is submit which of the plantings that they're proposing go into this back planting area, and have them monitor this planting bed essentially as their mitigation, especially since this one may be altered to accommodate stairs if they do pursue that. That was part of the discussion prior, was that they would not have this dog leg so close if they did propose the stairs to go in there.
Right. So there's some contingents on that anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with just concentrating on that back area, and then, as you said, let them know, let them tell us what they're putting there and what we should be looking for in 2 years. All right. Anyone disagree? All right, so we'll just modify that in the order.
And the remaining highlighted portion was whether you wanted an as-built plan. I'm guessing because they do have the patio going in, and that was more definitive, that you'd probably like to have that as-built. And then if they do pursue the retaining wall and the stairs, they can include that. I think that it may be it may be relevant here to ask for them to identify on the as-built the plantings that go into that back area, and then identify the area, the square footage of the planting beds across the site. And I can word it as such so that we're not having them necessarily, again, identify each herbaceous plug that goes in, but rather the woody species that are going in that back area.
That sounds right. Okay, good. Anyone have additional thoughts? All right, hearing none, are we ready to issue this?
Motion to issue the order of conditions as discussed.
Did Sue disappear again?
It just looked like she
Oh.
ended up as an attendee. So
Oh, okay.
It's back, kind of. All right.
There we
we're
go.
counting on her to second things.
I know, I'm technical difficulties. I think I left my phone in the sun today.
All right. So we have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. So all in favor, Bill?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
And Janet, you're sitting this out?
I'm gonna abstain. Yep.
Okay. Aye, Peter. So we will issue the order. All right. Go to the next one. 50 Lehigh Road. All right, now
Yep.
this one, they're in the 25 doing stuff.
Yes, they are. So special things on this one. So they did request a waiver for work in the 25-foot for native plantings and invasive species control plan. They did request a waiver of the fees. Trying to see if there was anything special. Yeah, and just the usual 2-year monitoring. Mitigation plantings in the 25-foot shall remain in perpetuity. So since they moved the fence out of the wetland, it made it much easier. So the fencing is at 26 feet at the closest from the wetland, and at the southeast corner of the property. Removing 4 trees and cutting an additional 4 to snags. So that was a question whether, so they were planting how many trees? Hold on. All right, so they're planting like 13 native trees and more than 100 native shrubs. So do we want to have the monitoring for the 25-foot buffer? Does that make sense instead of all those plantings within the 100-foot buffer?
Right, so the new trees are going in the 25, and then, I'm sorry, so there's only 3, so they're leaving, the hazard trees are snags, the 3 lawn trees, those ordinarily would be 6 trees. They're planting how many trees in the 25?
In the
13?
25, hold on. Sorry, hold on. I'm just pulling out the landscape plan. All right, so the trees are going in between the 25 and the 50,
Okay,
most of them. So do we want to have the monitoring for the 0 to 50 foot?
right, so that's 13 and 100 native shrubs, which would correspond to 25 trees
Mm-hmm.
had they been trees. So that seems like overkill. Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with doing 25 to 50 as being the zone that we concentrate on.
25 to,
But they're going, sorry, they're going within the, so 0,
yep, 0 to,
25 or all the way out to 50, because most,
There's a fence that's going in at the 25,
right.
I believe.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, and they're planting on both sides of it.
Right.
Um,
I mean, most of the plantings are between the 25 and the 50.
right. I mean, it's a pain to count them all. Who's monitoring?
That's why I'm limiting it.
So what would you prefer? Just the 0 to 25? Would that does that make
Well,
more
then
sense?
they're only monitoring
Then they're
like
only the
3
trees.
trees.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so monitor the trees, and then what's the most important area that the planting plan? I mean, we can.
So the planting plan, most of the plantings are going into the 25 to 50. In the
Right.
0 to 25, I think there's like 3 trees. So that's why I think that we need to do 0 to 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Any
So
other thoughts, commissioners?
So this one you need to vote on the waiver for work and the waiver of the fee.
All right, motion to waive, work within the 25 foot.
So moved.
Second,
So
who
I
seconded?
second.
Sue.
Sue.
All in favor, Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Hi.
Peter, I, Janet abstain.
Yep.
And
Motion to waive the waiver fee.
yeah, so how do we feel about that? It's because it's invasives, it's new plantings, right? They're not doing anything other than that,
Well, yeah, and the fence,
which is right outside.
which is right outside the 25 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, so Bill, you made a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thanks, Sue. All in favor, Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison? And
Hi.
sorry, and me, aye. So we will waive the waiver fee, the waiver fee. Okay. So now we need to issue the order.
Motion to issue the order with the was it the condition to monitor within the 0 to 50?
Mhm.
Second,
A second.
thank you. All in favor, Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Hi.
Peter, I. All right, so we've issued the order for Lehigh. And finally, 80 Countryway.
Yep.
This is with the pool and the trees, 6 trees
Yeah.
rather than 4
So
trees.
this one was pretty easy. All the work's outside the 50-foot buffer. So they had taken down 2 substantial trees due to damage from a winter storm. One was a 30-inch white pine and the other a 32-inch oak. So they're proposing to plant 6 native trees. So they called out red maple. But if they have trouble getting those or something, I'll talk with them.
And they're highlighted with the monitoring.
Yeah, so I didn't know if we wanted to have monitoring of these 6 trees, or if we just wanted to wait till they came for the COC to make sure they were still alive, or what your feeling was on that.
I don't know, folks, given that no one seems to be doing this 1-year monitoring. So this fellow did take down these trees without our permission.
Yep.
So I'm happy to require monitoring at the 1-year mark, and just to sort of impress on him that we exist and we care about this.
Okay, very good. And then as far as the pool, we have the special condition for them to erect permanent signage posted by the pool filter, that prior to winterization or other draining of the pool, no chemicals are to be added for 2 weeks prior, so that the chemicals have a chance to dissipate. And they need to show us the method of signage that they're going to use.
Perfect.
So that's the other special one about this.
Okay, cool. All right. Any thoughts from commissioners? Seeing no one. I will accept a motion to issue this.
Motion to issue the order of conditions for 80 Country as discussed.
Second,
I second.
all in favor, Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter, I. So we will go ahead and issue 80 Countryway. All right, is that it?
That's it. Janet wasn't here. I'm not sure if Sue was when I was just giving a little update that our offices are opening June 1st to the public.
Oh, is that the plan, June 1st? When are we supposed to go back to public, in-person
So-
public hearings?
That's the other part. So right now, I guess the governor has put in for legislation to continue some of the emergency legislation, including allowing the continuation of remote meetings.
Oh, really?
If that doesn't go through, then as of June 15th, we have to be back in person.
Okay.
But it seems like that's going to go through. So the situation is, so I had asked everyone else that was here earlier if they would prefer being back in person or if they were interested in a hybrid kind of thing, or if they'd rather, not be in person yet. Logistically, it's kind of turning into a nightmare. If we wanted to do some kind of hybrid or have the public be able to join in remotely, I guess there's like 3 rooms in the town that have that capability technology wise. And the Charles River room, I guess, is not one of those. And apparently the Conservation Commission's low down on the totem pole as far as getting these rooms, which I found very interesting. So anyways, it's still evolving situation. We don't know.
So what did people say? Did people say they wanted to be in person? Or
Yeah.
did they want to be remote?
Yep, so far.
Everybody
And-
on this call wants to be in person.
Good.
Sue, are you good in person?
She's been
Yes,
saying she wants to be
for
in person.
sure.
Okay.
And Bill and Peter? Happy to be in person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
So
know soon
do
what's going to be happening.
Yeah, I mean, I for whatever reason,
about
I've had
you and-
a lot. I've had a lot of crazy meetings that so I can toggle.
Yeah.
But not particularly useful on either end, so it's just as well if I'm either wherever I'm supposed to be or I'm with you guys, so. I just
Yeah.
get flustered and I don't know if I'm coming or going, so I might as well just be in one spot.
And the other thing also is if we do go back to in-person, do we want to go back to 7:30?
Yeah, I think that we do. I think we had said that earlier,
Mhm.
that we would, once it was in person, because it's hard to get back from work and all of that stuff with the trains, and
Right.
Steve was pretty clear about that he felt strongly about it.
Yeah.
Debbie, what about you and Claire? Claire, what about you and Clay with in person?
So I'm vaccinated and I'm fine with being in person. Clay's in kind of in the process, I guess, Clay.
Yeah, my personal feelings are that it's rushed, that it's a little too soon. And I say that just because I am of the camp that was not eligible to be vaccinated until April 19th. And I had pre-registered, and it wasn't on the 19th that I got my first shot. So it was this week that I finally got my second shot. So in 2 weeks I will be inoculated, but I was pretty early on that pre-registration list. I do just think that there's a certain percentage of the population that has been interested in getting vaccinated, not people changing their minds now late in the game, but people that have been eye on the ball. And I think that we still have some time before those people are inoculated. I personally have worked it out so that I will be in the office working with the public until my 2 weeks is up, until I'm doing that, unless they're wearing masks. So I just think as much as I have not super enjoyed coordinating the Zoom meetings and holding the license for our board and for some of the other boards, it's just an added struggle. I do think that July is maybe a more appropriate start date, but I serve at the commission of I serve at your will, and I will be comfortable with June 10th myself.
Well, so as far as June 1st in the offices go, are you required, is both of you required to go into the office, even if, Clay, you are not fully vaccinated?
So we've had many meetings about this. Originally, we were supposed to start in July 15th. That was the date. They just announced and pushed it back to June 1st, to the shock of everyone. So we did need to come up, they're being flexible going forward as far as our schedules. So Clay and I, for instance, each of us are going to be in office for 3 days a week and a remote 2 days a week. As long as someone from each department, there's someone to talk to each day. So we don't have to be there at the same time, but as long as there's a representative of conservation there, they're fine with that. So we did get, after some pushback, we got another 2 weeks before we have to start that. So for now, as of June 1st, there just has to be one body in our area that is taking, questions and such from the public for the other departments if they're not there. So Clay, isn't going to be going in and dealing with the public at all
good.
until he's fully vaccinated.
Okay, so you don't have to go in for 2 weeks.
Right. And the other thing is, Lisa hasn't been in the office since the start of COVID. She hasn't been in 15 months or whatever it's been. So I've kind of been haphazardly doing her job for the commission. So there's a lot of stuff to be filed. She's going to walk into a complete nightmare. So I'm going to meet her there on Sunday for a couple hours to try to make some sense of it. But to get us all up and running, it's going to be a while.
But our intention as this commission goes, our next hearing is the 13th or whatever. So that is our virtual meeting. But then it's the desire of this commission to be in person as of June 27th or whatever the date of the next one is. And I just pulled the date out of the air, but.
Yeah, that's how it seems. But it's still kind of a work in progress.
So the next one is June 10th, which will be virtual. Yeah. And after that, the June 24th, we could be in person. But we really have to start changing all of our notices and everything because we're going to go to 7:30. So should we say come July 8th?
As long as the town is on board, because we have to see if they're gonna require us to do something hybrid. It's still up in the air what they're gonna require us to do.
Because if they're gonna require us to do something hybrid, but we don't have an office to do it in, we might as well continue on a Zoom manner.
Right.
Okay.
This is
you
true.
Figure that out and let us know on June 10th.
Okay. Bye.
But I think maybe we assume for the moment that the next 2 meetings in June will be on Zoom. And then in theory, in July, we'll go back to in person at 7:30. And you'll figure out if we can actually do that.
Someone else will figure it out and they'll tell me.
I won't be at the second meeting in June. I'll be
okay. And Allison, you won't be at the first meeting, right? Okay.
And was there anything about the orienteering application for Ridge Hill? Was anything?
Oh, so I guess they had sent conservation. They sent us an email last Thursday, just bringing this whole thing up to us. Then I was out on Friday. And then I heard from Park and Rec that they had contacted them on like Tuesday, trying to get permission to do this. So, and they needed an answer and approval by yesterday in order to get all their advertising together for it. So I said, you know, with that timeline that they gave us, with the amount of people that they want to include in this, the areas that they wanted to use, the fields, and lack of bathrooms, there was just too many moving parts. So I had a nice email back and forth with the teacher that was going to run it. And so they're not going to look to do it this year, but they're going to keep us and Ridge Hill in mind for other things and give us more notice.
It sounded like a nice program.
Yes, it did.
Like you talk. Just sorry, Poppy.
All right, are we done?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Second? Need a second?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
You. Bye.
Bye.